a call from a family member stating that he had been involved in an incident on Wadsworth Street here in the village of Geneseo. Very basic information, but they thought that it was a serious enough incident where the officers were summoned to that location. Upon the officers making entry into the house, they did discover 3 deceased bodies, 2 males and 1 female. A lot of the information is preliminary at this time. They're still conducting a thorough investigation. Obviously, been notifying family as well as the scene is a huge undertaking for evidence collection and processing. So I can release the 3 names of the deceased individuals. Again, we're still pretty early in our investigation as far as the exact cause of death. We certainly will be working along with the medical examiner's office closely to determine the exact cause of death on these individuals and the circumstances leading up to their death.
Sir, can you confirm that Matt Hutchinson is a hockey player at SUNY Geneseo?
Yes, I can say that Mr. Hutchinson was a member of the SUNY Geneseo hockey team.
What about a volunteer fighter as well?
We've also been advised that he was a member of the Geneseo Volunteer Fire Department.
Is he a senior at Geneseo, is that correct?
That is correct, that he was a senior here at SUNY Geneseo.
Was Miss Anise also a student at SUNY Geneseo?
Miss Anise was a student of SUNY Geneseo and also a member of the SUNY Geneseo basketball team.
And Mr. Kingston also a student, or?
Mr. Kingston is a former SUNY student.
Did he graduate, or is it just former?
We were just told that it is former.
Do you know if his family happens to own Kingston Farms? Is that not going to be open?
Yeah, preliminary information, we're not going to divulge any other. For the courtesy of the family in this difficult time, we ask that those types of questions that we're not going to answer.
So no official cause of death released at this point?
No official cause of death that we are actually going to release at this time. Forthcoming, I can tell you that no gun was used or no firearm was used in this situation. I can tell you that a knife was recovered at the scene.
No further risk or anything for the public?
Absolutely not. We believe this is to be an isolated incident and no risk or no reason to believe that the general public safety is in jeopardy or concern this time.
Any information you can give us that maybe went up to this happening, or is that something?
I'd hate to divulge any information at this time. It's still under investigation. How the individuals knew each other, if they knew each other, and what circumstances may have led up to this situation.
The call came in at 6 o'clock, so is this something that happened shortly prior to 6, or is this potentially something that happened last night and the body's not discovered until this morning?
Certainly part of our investigation is to backtrack the events and the whereabouts of each individual. And that is an ongoing process at this time. Certainly, we have information that we knew where the whereabouts of certain individuals that were involved very early this morning, and then certainly the incident was, the officers were called at about 6. So I'm going to say certainly earlier this morning, not yesterday.
Were there any witnesses who at all heard any noise? I mean, you said there was no firearm involved, but...
At this time, again, still early in our investigation. There's multiple people that we still are contacting, interviewing. At this time, we don't have anybody that has seen the situation or heard the situation happening.
Did any of the deceased live at the Wadsworth Street home?
Yes, it was the home or temporary local residence of Miss Anise.
So I think there was some speculation there may have been a party there last night. This may have been a party. It sounds like you're saying that's not the case.
That would not be the case.
How long are you going to hold the scene?
We're going to pretty much be wrapping up the scene fairly shortly here. Most of the investigative stuff that's happening on scene is going to be concluding probably within the next half hour. And from there, Again, we'll be continuing our investigation, contacting other people, witnesses, or anybody may have any information on their last time they were seen.
When we talk about suspects, I mean, what's the status of that right now?
It's too early in the investigation to label anybody a suspect, victims. We're still investigating how the situation occurred, and as soon as that, we have a formal or at least enough information that we can label somebody our suspect or a perpetrator, we'll release that at that time.
Signs of drugs at the scene or anything like that?
Information that, again, we're not going to release at this time, still investigating.
Where did Mr. Hutchinson live? Where was his temporary?
Mr. Hutchinson lived here locally. We've been asked not to divulge where he was living locally. Certainly he was a student from Vancouver that was attending SUNY Geneseo and had a local residence here.
How's this affecting the university? The start of the semester is happening. Are they pushing that back at all?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
The university starting its semester in a couple days now. Are you in contact with them about possibly adjusting that?
Certainly, and then more of that will be forthcoming tomorrow when we have actual officials from SUNY Geneseo that will be in attendance. They certainly could probably answer those questions at this time. SUNY Geneseo, the public safety officers were on scene and assisting us with our investigation, as well as members of the administrative staff from SUNY Geneseo. As far as commenting whether they're going to adjust any student schedules, I don't have that information at this time. I'm sure they would be able to give that to you tomorrow.
Do you have a message for families who are arriving in town today with their students and what they should think about all this?
Certainly a situation, anytime, and having been in law enforcement a long time, we always, would advise our students coming in. Geneseo is a small community, a very safe community. We take pride in that it's not a very crime-ridden community, but certainly everybody should take safety measures to protect themselves, we always, encourage having friends knowing where you're going, when you're going with, and who you're with, reporting anything that doesn't seem right or suspicious. But as I can't state enough in this situation, we truly believe that this is an isolated incident, and it is in no way anybody in our community in danger.
Officer, there is scanner traffic that indicates that Mr. Kingston's father called 911, said that his son had killed his girlfriend and was thinking of committing suicide. Can you speak to those?
I can't speak directly to him other than say that the information, unless it's verified, certainly that is part of our investigation. The calls in which that came into the 911 center have to be reviewed. We have to find out exactly who made those calls. Anybody can speculate who made the call, but until we can verify it, I don't think it's right for us to release exactly who made the phone call and what was said.
You started by saying a family member had called 911.
Correct.
You're not willing to confirm that it was Mr. Kingston's father?
Not at this time. Again, I don't want to confirm information until we can 100% make sure that that's factual information.
So you're not ready to call this a murder-suicide then?
At this time, no. Again, it's still too early in our investigation. Having the information that we have at this time, we want to withhold from using any specific labels, other than to say that, the information we've already provided you, that we have three bodies that were located. We believe one may be a perpetrator, but we need to make sure that everything else is investigated further before we make those statements.
So all three bodies were found then inside the home on Leverett Street?
That's correct.
You say we believe one may be a perpetrator. What leads you to believe that?
Well, again, it's still early in our investigation, but with some of the information that was located on or at the scene, gives us some preliminary information that we can say that one of the individuals may have been the perpetrator on scene. But again, it's still too early to say.
Can you say where the victims were found, either upstairs in the house, downstairs in the house, or is that something that's not being revealed at this time?
At this time, we're not going to release that information. Okay, like you say,
if I can just get one more. A lot of different departments are working with this.
Absolutely. We have been certainly assisted by the Livingston County Sheriff's Department, the New York State Police, the University Police, as well as the District Attorney's Office. So multiple agencies all working together to give us their assistance.
And is UPD still contributing to the investigation?
Absolutely, and I'm sure they will be throughout the entire investigation.
In what ways are university officials assisting?
Well, certainly if we believe that the individuals either have, being students, they have a lot of vital information, contact information, certainly we use them for assistance in helping us, maybe contacting, whether it be professors or anybody that may have had contact with these individuals in the recent days. Again, we need to establish their whereabouts and things and events leading up to the situation that happened this morning, and that's part of it where university police can assist us.
And at the scene, it appeared that the crime scene the area that was cordoned off included other properties.
Well, anytime you have a crime scene, certainly our initial tape or our crime scene that we barricade off, that certainly may grow in certain situations and it may decrease, and depending on how and information that comes forward, that may become smaller or certainly increase. Our initial was a small area, and then once we figured out a little bit more information on what we had, we did want to widen that out a little bit. So it was purely the two different zones were only because we decided to widen our crime scene at that time.
And what addresses are contained within the area?
The preliminary situation occurred at 18 Wadsworth Street, and again, any residents in the immediate area that may have, the individuals may have walked through, had vehicles at, or anything like that, we certainly would investigate those and include those in our crime scene.